This is reviews by Collin. Excuse me, and I'm reviewing Wrath of the Titans. Okay, so let's talk about these stories for a little while. I am a huge fan of Greek mythology. I love it as much as the next guy. I find it fascinating. I find it fascinating the idea of gods having all of this power, but still being human. You know, basically the ability to rewrite the cosmos in a human. So enter Perseus. Perseus is one of the heroes of Greek, which I'm less familiar with, but he did some pretty great things. You know, taking on the Kraken and the immortal story, the Crash of the Titans story, where they're taking out where the gods and titans are fighting around to. Perseus comes up big. As for the movie, well, let's talk about the good. The good in this movie is the action. The action is pretty intense. I mean, that's really all you can say about it. It was pretty intense, pretty cool. Some really neat special effects and some really neat fighting scenes, if you like that stuff. But that's about where the good stuff ends. There was a lot of weaknesses. And maybe this was supposed to be a transition. This was supposed to be a transition from one book to another. One movie to another, and I just don't think it was done very well. I never saw Clash of the Titans, but Wrath was seriously lacking in character development and not necessarily plot. Like, the plot was done well, but the plot followed the plot, I guess. I mean, it was telegraphed, and you know it's kind of what's going to happen, but I guess the weakness of this one, in stories, there's only so many ways to tell stories, and in all stories, you got several things that run it. You got conflict, and you got characters. So conflict pushes the plot, and I've said this many times in my videos. Conflict pushes the plot, but characters push the conflict, and the characterization in this movie is really, really weak. The only one with any sort of personality, Perseus has got no personality whatsoever. He's got Queen Andromeda, I want to say, who he saves. If I remember how the legend goes, he actually saves Queen Andromeda from the Kraken, which is a giant sea beast, which has happened in the first movie. They have no chemistry at all. I thought it was very weak. Like, he basically goes and spoiler alert, he basically goes and he makes out with her at the end for no other reason than she's probably the only female on the battlefield. Like, oh, you're pretty hot, let's go make out with you. No chemistry at all. Liam Neeson plays Zeus, and he's a godly character, and he was alright. Ralph Fiennes, who's Voldemort, played Hades, sort of poetic or ironic, whichever the way you look at it, and they were okay. Guy who plays Ares, I don't even know his name, he hates Zeus, he hates everybody, we're not really even sure why. Like, it was hard to understand his motivations, he just hates everyone. Even when something's detrimental to his own self-interest, like freeing Kronos, yeah, because, Kronos is a great guy. I don't know. Ultimately, I think it's a renter. The CGI and the spot fightings were good, but if you're looking for a decent romance, some decent characterization, and decent storytelling, it's just not there. I mean, I did see it, and I paid $10 for it. I mean, and I don't regret it, but there was definitely some things of weakness. And I hear they're doing a third movie, so I'm really, really hoping that they'll improve the characterizations. You have gods dying in this film, like literally gods dying, and you don't really care. A father dying, a brother dying. I mean, you just don't care. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this review at that. Check out my stuff on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. I got a book going off free right now. It's a dystopic, post-apocalyptic dystopic stuff. If you like Hunger Games, you probably like it. It's called Harmonics, Rise of the Magician, and there's links in the bottom. So make sure you go check it out. Reviews by Collin. More information at me, www.collinearl.com. If you saw Wrath of the Titans, did you like it? If so, tell me why. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Later.